Good morning, everyone. I'm First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. Clearly, a very active morning across parts of North Georgia, especially to our neighbors to the south in places like Troup, Meriwether, Pike, Lamar, Spalding County. We've had multiple reports of severe thunderstorms starting through the overnight hours. Thankfully, all of the severe activity is done for now, but now we are focusing on the flooding threat because that is present right now. Just to let you know, our crews here at Atlanta News First are also sending people down to Troup County. We do have a crew there right now working on gathering some information. We have gotten multiple reports from the National Weather Service. In fact, I'm going to pull up that chat for you. We've gotten reports of leveled homes. We've gotten reports of trees down. In fact, 85 in Troup County over near the Kia plant is shut down in both directions. Right now it says 9 a.m., but it's still an ongoing situation. That was the last I checked with Georgia 511, that they were going to close that until 9 a.m. But we do have a lot of damage reports coming in, and we are again sending our crews out there to assess the damage from that tornado warning earlier this morning that went through parts of Troup and Meriwether County. If you were with us during that, then you know that we had a debris signature that was showing up on radar indicating that something was lofted in the air. So what I need to do is I'm going to put my graphics in for you to be able to show you what exactly is going to happen through the rest of the day. So just give me 1 second and I'm going to do that. But we are not done with the rain and storm activity for the day today, unfortunately. In fact, we do still have a severe threat for the day and ultimately the potential for flooding. So here's a look at First Alert radar. We have very heavy rain and lots of thunderstorm activity. So it is a light show, especially south of I-20. We do have a flash flood warning in effect for parts of Pike, Meriwether, and Lamar counties until 2:30 this afternoon. So if you live in Meriwether County, if you live in Pike County, Lamar County, also Upson County, flash flooding is expected for you as you've picked up a lot of rain. In fact, the radar estimated totals, I'll show you in just a second after we kind of go through a radar tour here, have been upwards of 4.5 inches in just a few hours. The ground can only hold so much rain. The ground is like a sponge. And once the sponge fills up, what do you have to do? You have to squeeze it out in order to get all of the water out of it to continue to use it properly. Well, the ground, once it's full and saturated, it has to go somewhere, and that's on top of the ground, ultimately into the streets, sometimes into people's homes. So we will be monitoring this flooding threat throughout the day. We do have very heavy rain now moving into parts of the metro, into parts of the perimeter, really heavy rain. But again, the focus mainly south of I-20, where the rainfall rates are incredible. Jasper and Putnam County getting some very heavy rain. If you are traveling along I-20 right now, especially on the west side of town in Douglas County, in Carroll County, in Paulding County, Carroll County, very, very heavy rain, and it does look like more of that is on the way. Now, not only south of I-20, while of course most of the rain and storm activity, nothing severe right now, is mainly south of I-20, we do have some very heavy rain moving through parts of Fulton County. That's going to move through downtown here in the next few minutes. Just taking a look at the airport right now, it is wet out there, a very, very rainy day, and unfortunately we are not going to be done with it. So I'm going to take you through the timing of everything here shortly, but here's a look at those rainfall totals I was talking about. This is 24-hour rainfall, but realistically this happened within the last 6 hours. We're talking radar indicated totals over 4 inches, and the National Weather Service is reporting that we could potentially pick up another 5 inches of rain in just the next 24 hours in spots south of I-20. That is a very dangerous amount of rain to fall in just 24 hours. So tomorrow morning, when you are heading out to work and to school on your morning drive, you need to be very, very careful, extra vigilant. If you do see water in the roadways, standing water, do not drive into it. That particular flash flood warning goes until 2:30. I do expect more to pop up throughout the morning. We do have a flood watch. So this is for the potential for flooding because obviously we are expecting a lot more rain in the next several hours. So a flood watch mainly for counties along and south of I-20, but that does extend all the way up into Clark County up towards Athens. In East Georgia, so over towards our eastern counties, like I said, Clark County, you could experience some very heavy rain and maybe even isolated severe storms through the afternoon. There is actually a severe thunderstorm watch for counties mainly east of 75 through 1 o'clock. We do also have a tornado watch for a handful of our counties. That does unfortunately include Troup, Meriwether, Pike, Lamar counties until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So the potential for tornadoes still exists until 1 o'clock. Right now, a lot of these storms are kind of raining themselves out, so they aren't able to gain the steam that they had earlier this morning. Our environment was almost like putting oil to a flame. I mean, it was, or gas to a flame. It was just prime for severe weather until the storms started training in from Alabama. And now with all that rain training, it's kind of helping to cool our atmosphere down a little bit and help calm us down. But that doesn't mean that the wind shear in the atmosphere isn't present. That is what's going to help spark that tornado threat through 1 o'clock. So we will be watching for that. Throughout the morning, we've seen these classic supercell structures. Supercells are notorious for producing very gusty wind, also hail. We've had hail reports of 2 inches. Guys, that's golf ball sized hail, which is still dangerous within itself. In parts of Troup and Meriwether County, Spalding County got those hail reports. I've been seeing down in Baldwin County in the Milledgeville area, several people showing photos of hail on their back porch that we also experienced here in North Georgia. That's more of a central Georgia county, but nonetheless, we had a very similar situation here. But then these supercells also, you have to watch very carefully because they'll quickly spin up and spawn a tornado, and that's exactly what we saw down in Troup and Meriwether counties earlier today. So as we go through the day today, notice most of North Georgia, with the exception of the mountains, is under a severe threat today. If you are in the perimeter, in some of our suburbs, all the way down as far south as like Clayton County, you're in a level 1 out of 5. What does that mean? Your threat is very isolated today. I do think for the most part, for the metro area, you are going to mainly be focusing, or we're going to mainly be focusing on the potential for damaging winds, maybe some small hail within those storms. Flash flooding, not as high of a threat for those of you who are in places like, again, if you live in Atlanta, if you live in Carrollton, if you live in the Noonan area, if you live in Lawrenceville, over in Gwinnett County, we're not quite as concerned about the flood threat for you. In places that are flood prone, if you get those heavier downpours, because we've been in a bit of a wet pattern, you might have some ponding in the streets, but our greater flood threat is definitely East Georgia down toward over near Clark County and then south of I-20. South of I-20 is also where our greatest severe threat is. Notice that level 2 out of 5, scattered severe storms likely. We've already seen our first round this morning, and unfortunately we do have more rounds of storms on the way in the next several hours. Good morning to everybody watching. Thank you so much for checking in. Derek, Dee, David. I also see Wesley and Michael. Good morning to you guys. Hopefully everyone doing well, staying dry and staying safe with this stormy setup that we have going on. So again, we're not letting our guard down as the potential for severe weather exists, not only today, but into tomorrow. So we do have the potential for, through the overnight tonight into tomorrow, the potential for more severe weather. So let's take you through it with our future cast here. This is starting to show trends. Our models have been struggling really a lot, I should say, on where exactly all of these storms are going to set up. This system that we have in place currently, we've been getting these waves off of a boundary that is setting up. That boundary is serving as extra lift in the atmosphere. And so essentially we're getting these waves of energy to ripple along that boundary, and models struggle with showing and figuring out exactly where these are going to set up, but we have seen trends. The morning, definitely the stormiest. As we head towards lunchtime, rain will be rolling through our eastern counties. So we're talking Rockdale County, Newton County, Morgan County, Clark County. This will be heading your way, Hall County. But notice, look at the rain still setting up south of I-20 in Troup and Meriwether and southern Fayette County, South Clayton County, parts of Spalding County, Butts County. That's going to continue. Rain will train there, and that's why we're concerned about flash flooding there. Now, as we go into the afternoon hours, if you are north of Atlanta northward, and some of our suburbs, we'll watch for quick passing storms. Some of those could have enough fuel just simply from the heat of the day and being untouched through the morning to warrant for a severe storm or two. So if you do have plans today, you're going to need to have the First Alert Weather app handy, because that will let you know if lightning is in your area, if there's any severe weather in your area, and it's just a great tool to have if you have any outdoor plans, because if there is lightning in your area, you'll be notified of it, and you want to be going indoors if it's detecting lightning is in your area. So again, we've been talking about the Food and Wine Festival. I'll have that forecast for you in just a second. The Food and Wine Festival might get a little bit on the rainy side occasionally as we head through the afternoon. It looks like the start of it around 12 o'clock, 11, 12 o'clock might be mainly dry, but we will have that chance for scattered showers to go through. So of course, our Atlanta News First Alert Weather team has been there. They were there yesterday, and today's situation definitely needs to be reassessed, especially as we are now going to be kind of all hands on deck here for for the damage in Troup and Meriwether counties. As we head towards 8 o'clock tonight, if you have any dinner plans, you live from Atlanta southward, probably going to need to just stay at home. I would say order in, but I don't like to make the delivery drivers have to drive out and all of this stuff. But you get what I'm saying. Tonight is going to continue to be rainy. It's going to be an on and off day with rain and storms. And unfortunately, we are going to continue to have a severe threat through the overnight. So this is my thinking with what's going on right now when it comes to severe weather. The morning, definitely going to be some of the stormiest time of day. We've already seen that. We're kind of starting to get into this lull. I do think we will start to see a little bit of diminished activity severe weather-wise as we head into the afternoon hours. It's almost like our atmosphere kind of calms down a little bit because of all the rain. Doesn't mean we can't still have an isolated severe storm, but I think the afternoon might be some of our calmest time, especially the late afternoon as we head towards 2, 3, 4 o'clock. And then we get a second wave of stronger storms. It's almost as if the atmosphere rebounds as we head into the evening and as rain and storms roll through all over again, becoming more widespread through the overnight. I do think we will prolong our severe threat into the late evening and overnight hours, which is why it's super important to have a way to receive weather warnings through the overnight. There's no convenient time for severe weather, but the overnight is especially inconvenient because, of course, a lot of you are just trying to get your rest, get the work week started, but you need to be on alert through the overnight. So have a way to receive weather warnings in order to wake you up if we do have any severe weather through the overnight, as it is a possibility. So here's a look at the forecast for Cobb County because, of course, we do have the Georgia Food and Wine Festival that Atlanta News First has been partnering with. I just want to let you know it is going to be fairly rainy. When you see the red color on Cobb County, that's dry conditions. So passing showers and storms with the potential for severe weather. It does look like we will get some dry time for it, but it also looks like some heavier downpours and thunderstorms will be possible. Of course, thunderstorms with an outside event, not a safe place to be. Your tent isn't necessarily going to protect you from lightning or severe weather, so you just need to be on high alert. If that event is still going on, we're still kind of working to figure out those details, but there will be dry time, especially in the early afternoon over in Cobb County, but also the chance for passing thunderstorms. Let's take you further into tomorrow morning because, again, we do still have the chance for rain and storms through the overnight hours. It will, again, mainly set up along and south of I-20, but we can have some shower and thunderstorm activity even as we head into your morning commute tomorrow. Now, this model has definitely trended a little drier, especially for downtown Atlanta and northward. So our northern counties looking a little more dry for the morning drive, but we are definitely concerned about that flash flooding threat. So for all the school buses that have to head out tomorrow morning, it is going to be a wet drive tomorrow morning. Students get ready to head out to the bus stop. They definitely are going to need the umbrella. I would suggest parents, if you can, waiting for the bus in the car with them because they don't need to be standing outside in this heavy rain and storm activity because thunderstorms will still be likely, severe weather will still be possible. We can't stress enough that you just really need to pay attention to the weather. The best way to put it, weather aware, weather ready, because it is going to be a really rainy and stormy stretch of weather for the next about 24 hours. This is unfortunately only the beginning. Here's a look at what we could pick up just through Tuesday. So Tuesday, we'll keep our rain again, mainly south of I-20. This boundary is stubborn, guys. So the boundary that has been sparking up all of these storms is going to continue to stay stalled to our south, and that's going to keep rain focused south of I-20. So this particular model is thinking we could pick up, this is ringing in 2.7 inches, but notice, see that red color there? That's indicating 3 inches or more. South of I-20, it's saying only about an inch of rain, but within today alone, the National Weather Service is reporting that we could pick up close to 5 inches of rain in just 24 hours. So the next 7 days, while even though it's rainy and we had this front move through and stall to our south, we are going to stay fairly mild. Temperatures, the coolest will be is Wednesday at 67. The normal high is close to 70 degrees, so we're pretty near average, and then we'll warm back up as we head into the end of next week. It does look like our next best rain chance beyond today is going to be on Saturday, as we head into next weekend. So we'll be watching that very carefully. Again, now that our severe weather threat is primarily done for at least right now, because we do still have the threat through the rest of really the day, we'll be watching for at least isolated severe storms. We are going to be watching for flash flooding through Monday morning. And the Weather Prediction Center just came out with a precipitation discussion. So what I'm going to do is quickly read that and give you a little synopsis of it. Let's see, possibly trying to see if it'll tell me a rainfall total really quickly. That'll be a little, okay, Let's see, expect some storm totals over the next 6 hours to reach as high to 3 to 5 inches, giving the strong training character of convection, especially for central to eastern Georgia. So that's exactly lining up with this. So they kind of consider part of Troup, Meriwether, Spalding County, Fayette County more central Georgia, but nonetheless, you watch us on TV, so you are our family. And so, again, we are going to be watching for flooding, and again, 3 to 5 inches possible over the next 24 hours. We're seeing from our emergency management director, sirens going off in West Point. Any idea why? That's over in Troup County. Let's see. I don't see any kind of severe thunderstorm warning. The last we heard from the National Weather Service, I'm just giving you an idea because we have a chat where we are able to talk directly to the National Weather Service in Peachtree City. And it looks like the last we got was over in Pine Mountain. A train spotter reports thunderstorm wind damage, multiple trees and power lines down near Oak Grove Road, northwest of Pine Mountain, Georgia. And the last thing we got was the tornado watch until 1 o'clock for parts of our area. Again, that's mainly for Meriwether, Troup, Pike, and Lamar counties for us here in North Georgia. I'm just going to read a couple more things just to make sure I'm up to date on everything, but doesn't look like we have any more. It looks like we had a strong thunderstorm impacting Pike, Monroe, Upson, and Lamar County until 9:45. So strong thunderstorms typically means that you have winds upwards of 40 miles per hour below severe limits. Severe storms need 58-mile-per-hour winds or higher. Also 1-inch diameter hail. So you can see these are very big lightning producers. There's a light show going on south of I-20. LaGrange getting another round of storms. That storm that's moving through LaGrange right now, previously severe warned back out in Alabama, but it did weaken as it made its way over the Alabama-Georgia line there. So we'll watch the progression of that very carefully for you in case it does spark up enough fuel, maybe takes advantage of some of the wind shear in the atmosphere in order to spew another severe thunderstorm warning. So we'll be watching that for you very carefully. It does look like we now have some very heavy rain moving into parts of downtown. I'm going to take you to a different view of First Alert Radar here. Just to get an idea of exactly what's going on. I have better control of this one. So it does look like some fairly heavy rain moving inside the perimeter right now, just south of downtown in the East Point area. Decatur getting in on that rain. It looks like over near Assembly, so near Doraville, getting some very heavy rain. Same along Sandy Springs. So if you are waking up with us, getting ready maybe to head out to run some errands, going to church early on this Sunday morning, a lot of spots getting some very heavy rain, especially along 285, along 75. We did hear word that the 85 over in Troup County was shut down. I'm actually going to check back in on that for you really quickly. It might be open. I'm not seeing a closure sign down there, but let me look. So it looks like debris on the roadway on 85 southbound before Kia Boulevard. So over near the Kia plant in Troup County, it looks like one of 2 lanes blocked. But we are seeing State Road 14 in both directions at West Smith Road in Troup County. That is closed right now. State Road 219 near Eli Callaway Road. That's a road that I actually was talking about when we were going through the tornado warning. I remember talking about Eli Callaway. So tree limbs over at Eli Callaway, that's completely closed. Tree limbs on 85 northbound before US 27, also known as Hamilton Road. All lanes are closed there. So we have multiple roads shut down in both directions just because of trees down on the roads. That's just thanks to the wind damage from either the tornado or some of the wind that came out ahead of it. Either way, heavy rain and wind do not go well together. That saturates the ground. That allows trees to fall. And unfortunately, I do expect more of that to happen because of what we are experiencing right now on First Alert Radar. We have very heavy rain. These storms still producing very gusty wind. And so that is going to cause issues as we go through the day. So I'm going to take a look at velocity, actually. This gives us an idea of wind going toward and away from the radar, but it also gives us an idea of exactly how gusty the winds are. So we do have some fairly gusty wind, it looks like, moving through the Hogansville area, so western Troup County and into Meriwether County. So the velocity is 25 miles per hour there. So the wind's not necessarily super strong down in Meriwether, but still, that's blustery by any kind of by any stretch of the imagination. It's blustery. It does look like this storm that was severe warned, the rotation in it is very broad here down near the Langdale area. So that was not a nice circle, was it? But either way, that is a very broad rotation. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that because that's what happened with the storms before. Not comparing this to the storm that moved through Troup and Meriwether earlier, but we do need to watch because that's what these supercells do. they ultimately spin up very quickly and they will produce tornadoes quickly. So that's something we are going to be watching for. Right now, if you're tuning in, good morning. But we are not worried about any kind of severe weather right now. We have no active severe thunderstorm warning, but we are going to watch for the potential for severe weather through the next several hours as it does exist. The big concern as of right now, the imminent threat is the flooding threat, as we do have these storms training over the area. So for Meriwether, Pike, and Upson County, I know Upson County is technically outside of our viewing area, but Meriwether and Pike counties, you guys watch us on TV. This goes until 2:30. That means that flash flooding is an imminent threat, that it's either happening or it is going to happen. And here's a look at kind of across the metro here. Parts of Fulton County, DeKalb County, going to get very heavy rain. It is starting to fall. We have a really steady train of rain right now across a lot of the metro. And we do have the threat for severe weather as we go through the day today. Not only for the morning, isolated threat for the afternoon, but we will also have the potential for severe storms as we head into the evening hours and overnight as well. All right. So, also, I saw in the comments that we're just getting word. We have a lot going on here behind the scenes, guys. We have a whole team. We have crews down in Troup and Meriwether counties. We have Chief Meteorologist Jen Valdez is here. She came in when the storm started getting really bad. She likes to, of course, keep everyone safe. That is her top priority. That's all of our top priority on the First Alert Weather team. But we knew that when these storms started firing up, this was a team coverage situation to make sure that we had all of our bases covered for you. So right now we're working on getting a live crew for you guys. We have Megan Packer here still in studio. Of course, again, we have Chief Meteorologist Jen Valdez, who's going to take you through some of the damage reports. We were talking to some of the emergency managers a little earlier out of Spalding County. We do have several reporters that are out down in Troup and Meriwether counties who are going to be giving you live reports from some of those counties that were really hard hit this morning. So let's take through. I'm seeing that we have people talking about pictures. We're asking for photos. If you have any photos, of course, do not go out and take any. If the weather is bad in your area, you need to take photos safely. But if you do have any photos, please send them our way. That just helps us get a broader view of exactly what's happening across our area. So if you do have any photos or videos, we appreciate that you send them to us. You just need to give us permission, so make sure that when you send them to us, you tell us that we are allowed to use your photo. Of course, just send them our way, and we would really appreciate that. Sirens were going off earlier in Conyers. Yeah, we've heard a couple of reports of sirens going off in some places. Of course, the only place we had the tornado warning was in Troup and Meriwether County earlier this morning. But yeah, we've had a couple of reports of that, and that can definitely be ominous because you're waking up to probably the sounds of thunder and lightning and not knowing exactly what's going on. So good morning to everybody who is currently watching. We do have just an active day, and you're not in the area, you're just above. Oh, well, thank you for checking in, Dana. Sure appreciate that. So again, a very rainy morning out there. First Alert Radar lit up with thunderstorm activity, and now really our severe threat for right now, any kind of severe storms, I should say, not the severe threat, but the severe storms are to an end. We do not have any. It doesn't look like we have anything necessarily super strong right now, and I'm going to check the Weather Service chat actually just to make sure we don't have any kind of strong storm moving into the area. It looks like we just have, that's in Baldwin County, that's outside of our viewing area. But we do have reports of damage coming in frequently. Nothing strong out there right now, nothing severe. That's good news. We're kind of quieting down after a very active morning. And you might be watching from right now Troup County, where you are getting hammered with rain and probably seeing a lot of frequent lightning outside your window and saying, what do you mean it's calming down? Well, thankfully, it's not strong. It's not severe just yet. We will keep an eye on that storm, though, as it was previously severe warned back out in Tennessee. But take a look at this. Our rainfall totals have been nothing short of impressive. In fact, I'm actually going to re-query this because I think these are not accurate anymore just because we've gotten more rain. So let's go over towards Pike County. That's 5 inches of rain. Now, this says 24 hours, but this realistically has fallen within the past 6 to 10 hours. 4.7, so almost 5 inches of rain in parts of Troup County, 5 inches of rain plus in parts of Pike and Lamar counties. So again, these are our far southern counties, but they've gotten a lot of rain and unfortunately not done with that yet. I am going to scoot up to parts of Metro because we have gotten a lot of rain there too as well. It's been a rainy stretch of weather. So in the past 24 hours, parts of Paulding County, 2 inches of rain. It looks like in southern Cobb County, over 2 inches of rain. So not necessarily flood worthy, but still plenty of rain that we've received in the past 24 hours. And we have more on the way, which is why that flood threat exists for us over the next 24 hours as more rain is on the way for not only today, but into tomorrow morning, especially south of I-20. That's where the boundary is set up, and you can see it. So notice, once I bring back First Alert Radar, you see all of the lightning there that's going on, but then you go north into, like, inside the perimeter, you're going into Rockdale and Newton County, you're going into Cherokee and Cobb County. There's not quite as much lightning. That boundary is just essentially adding extra lift, extra energy to the atmosphere. If you watched our severe spring weather special last night, we talked about the ingredients that you need for severe storms. You need the moisture. Check, we have that. Our wind has been flowing out of the southwest. We've been getting lots of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. You need the heat. Also check, it was in the 80s yesterday afternoon. Didn't cool off all that much through the overnight hours. We were in the 60s this morning, still plenty warm. So we had the energy. And then we also need the lift. And that was that boundary that's set up. And models really struggled with where this boundary was going to set up. Yesterday, models were thinking it was going to go a little further south, so that's why our severe threat yesterday morning when we were looking at it wasn't quite as high. But then that boundary set up a little further north. It didn't sink quite as far south as originally anticipated. And when you have that boundary, you have the extra lift. That's that third and key ingredient for more scattered severe storms. So that is something that ended up evolving and ultimately didn't work out in our favor, especially for our neighbors down in Troup, Meriwether, Pike, and Spalding counties. And again, we do have that flash flood warning. I'm going to take you back there quickly just to give you an idea of exactly how long that will last. Down in, again, Pike and Lamar County and Upson County and Meriwether County. So here is that flash flood warning for Meriwether, Pike, Upson. That is for parts of southern Lamar County, but overall a very heavy rain. This goes until 2:30. So not only did Meriwether County have a tornado earlier today, confirmed dangerous tornado, but now they're dealing with rain. So not only are they trying to clean up, they're trying to assess the damage, but they're getting poured on in the process. And I know when our reporters start showing up that you're going to see all of that heavy rain that is still out there. It's just miserable, unfortunately. And we will look ahead to more flooding through the morning. I do want to take you really quickly towards more of downtown. So inside the perimeter, actually getting some fairly heavy rain right now. Also in parts of DeKalb County and Gwinnett County. So we do have very, very heavy rain that is moving through. And give me just 1 second. Okay, so we are hearing word from our team here. Again, we have all hands on deck here on Atlanta News First that we're getting some statements from Governor Brian Kemp. So I'm going to look for that really quickly and just give you an idea of what he's saying as, of course, now we are kind of cleaning up after the tornado this morning. So let's take a look. Governor Brian Kemp says, here it is. As severe weather continues in these and other parts of our state, we urge Georgians to be mindful of how they can best keep themselves and their families safe. Stay tuned to local news outlets and take necessary precautions throughout the day. So great advice, though. You really do. You want to, your local news channels are here for you. Here in Atlanta News First, we are here to keep you and your families informed. We have the tools between our First Alert Radar that can show us inside the storms and show us where the tornadic activity is happening. We were able to pinpoint this morning where that rotation exactly was. We were able to get it down to the street for you so that you and your families knew exactly where this tornado was coming, where it was going. So we really, local news outlets are just a great tool to have for you as we continue to monitor this severe weather threat throughout the day. Right now, again, we don't have any active severe thunderstorm warnings, but we do have flash flood warnings that are now extending into parts of central Georgia as well, including here in North Georgia. We're going to send it now live to our reporters who are on the scene, so we'll tune into them. All right, everyone, good morning. We are back after talking live with our reporter Bridget Spencer, who is out on the scene. So we were just kind of resetting before we came back live. So if you are still tuning in with us, we sure appreciate it. But yes, we have reporters out. We are going to check in with Bridget in just a few minutes. She's out in Troup County right now. But what you're looking at is a very active radar. I will just reintroduce myself quickly. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. We've had a very active morning. We have all hands on deck here to give you the latest information, not only on any kind of severe weather that could come about within the next several hours, because we do still have the chance for severe weather, but also give you updates on the damage that's out in Troup and Meriwether counties from earlier this morning after a confirmed tornado was on the ground there and caused a lot of damage. So the damage reports are quite honestly a little overwhelming, and we're working on getting all that information for you. So let's talk about what's going on out there right now. Right now we have a flash flood warning for a handful of our counties. So now that we have kind of brought our severe thunderstorm warnings to an end, those are turning into flash flood warnings. And rightfully so, because there has been just an incredible amount of rain falling south of I-20, especially in parts of Meriwether County, Spalding County as well, and also parts of, it looks like Upson County, which is of course outside of our viewing area, but nonetheless a lot of rain setting up, especially south of I-20. That is going to be a huge concern. This is unfortunately, all this heavy rain will continue into tomorrow morning. So if you are watching from Meriwether, Pike County, if you're watching from places like Butts County, Troup County, Clayton County, Fayette County, you are all under a flash flood watch through tomorrow morning. So that means that flash flooding is possible. It will be possible over the next 24 hours. So as you are preparing to, head out and about today for errands, or maybe you're thinking about going back to work and school tomorrow. I know it's still the weekend, but we got to prepare for the start of the work and school week. You need to just really take it easy out there, because not only will rain be falling tomorrow morning, but the potential for flash flooding is there, especially along and south of I-20. But this does extend up towards Clark County, Newton County, parts of Rockdale County as well. So this isn't necessarily just a threat for I-20 southward. We also are looking towards East Georgia, because these storms are going to produce incredible amounts of rain within the next several hours. In fact, the National Weather Service is thinking we could pick up another 5 inches of rain, 3 to 5 inches of rain within the next 24 hours. And, the ground only can hold so much water. And once it can't hold any more, the water stays above the surface, it runs off into the roads, and that can cause flooding in the roadways, which can ultimately be very dangerous. So you just need to be very, very careful. I'm going to give you an idea of how much rain the radar has estimated so far that we have picked up on, and that number is incredible. Take a look at this once it loads. Over 4 inches of rain in some spots. In fact, I'm going to re-query this for you, because this is constantly updating as the rain continues to train over parts of our counties in North Georgia here. This is really considered central Georgia. Nonetheless, in parts of Pike County, 5.3 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. And this really is just within the past, I'd say, 6 to 10 hours. 6 inches of rain getting picked up in Troup County right now from the radar. This is, of course, radar estimated. These aren't official totals. And part 2.6 in just parts of Meriwether County. Of course, you can see those red colors, and that's when you're going above 4. So you add another 3 to 5 on top of this in the next 24 hours. That is just a red flag for flash flooding, and that's why that flash flood watch is in effect through tomorrow morning. I do want to let you know we also have a tornado watch in effect until 1 o'clock this afternoon for Troup, Meriwether, Pike, and Lamar counties. So we will be watching mainly south of I-20 as well for the potential for another tornado. It is possible. The dynamics are there. Now, I do think our best chance for severe storms has passed. We're in a little bit of a lull right now. And then I think it's going to pick back up as we head into the evening. Doesn't mean we can't have severe weather through the morning, but just kind of taking a look even out to our west, all the severe thunderstorm warnings have expired. So that shows a weakening of storms. The hail cores in the storms have gone down. That also indicates a weakening of storms. So that's good. That's a good sign. That's a good trend, of course. But we will be watching for more severe storms through the day. I do, again, think that this morning was some of the stormiest weather, but we'll take you through Futurecast here as we go through the morning hours. All of this rain, it is going to impact some of our suburbs. So downtown Atlanta, parts of Cobb County, parts of Cherokee County, Gwinnett County, Rockdale County, Newton County, DeKalb County. So not just south of I-20 are the people who are going to deal with rain, and also the threat for severe weather. We have an isolated severe weather threat for as far north as Cherokee County for the start or for the morning into the afternoon hours because of these storms. So as we go into the afternoon, we'll get a little bit of a lull. It seems like still some passing showers in our suburbs north of Atlanta. The heaviest rain stays south of I-20. It does look like we'll get somewhat of a break as we head into the mid-afternoon, so 2 to around 4 o'clock or so. But we do unfortunately have more rain that's going to surge back in through the late evening hours. So while we'll get a little bit of a break during your dinner hour, more rain and storms roll in after sunset and through the overnight hours. So we will keep the threat for severe weather through the overnight, which is why it's just super important to have a way to receive weather warnings as we go through the next several hours. Now, we've had team coverage throughout the morning, not only between our reporters, but our anchors and even Chief Meteorologist Jen Valdez here. We've just all hands on deck to get you informed. I'm going to bring in Megan Packer now. We've been watching this kind of unfold throughout the morning, learning more and more. What's some of the latest that we've heard from emergency managers or anywhere across the
So we've
county?
been staying in touch, Courtney, really closely with people in Troup County, and in fact, we have a crew who just arrived in Troup County. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in West Point. This is the southwest tip of Troup County, right by the Alabama line. And look, this is what we're talking about right now. We've heard the reports of the leveled homes, trees down, roads blocked. And this is why. And you can see it's dumping rain on them right now. I mean, look at this, the runoff
Yep.
on the side of the road there. And you and First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez have been talking about that this morning, that you are concerned about the flash flooding
Right.
that we may see next.
Yeah.
So we are hearing, though, from emergency management officials in Troup County that there are no injuries reported at this point, as far as they know, but they describe it as hectic, as you may imagine. They have people out and about trying to get to people who might be caught up in their homes right now. They've got multiple crews out on what they're calling search and rescue missions, reports of multiple buildings destroyed, power lines down, trees down blocking roads. Even our crew who's on this scene right now, they had a bit of trouble getting to where they are because of blocked roads. They had to get a bit of a police escort so they could give us this vantage point. Our Bridget Spencer is live there, so we hope to check in with her in just a moment and check in and learn more about what she's seeing there. But this is the first time that we've gotten these eyes on the ground, and it looks just as bad as you had feared this morning when you were watching this on the radar.
Absolutely. And the thing is we saw all that runoff there, and the rain continues to fall down there, which isn't going to help with the cleanup effort at all. Also, I mean, you have to think of the danger of thunderstorms still rolling in the area. That means lightning, and that means potentially more severe weather on the way down there. So, when you're cleaning up, a lot of times we have those cold fronts come through and the sky's clear and they can kind of go about their business, but that's not going to be the case today. It's going to be constant rain and storms, which just really isn't going to help with that cleanup effort down there.
So it is a 1-2 punch for people who might want to be getting out of their houses, assessing damage, go checking on loved ones. We'll show you this live picture again, but unfortunately the weather didn't just quickly pass, as sometimes we see with these storm systems, right? Sometimes it blows through and then the sun is out shining.
Right.
That is not what we're dealing with today.
Right, which only makes it worse. Now we're kind of focusing, of course, we have the potential for severe weather as we go through the morning. We're going to get, I was talking about a little bit of a break as we head into the afternoon hours. It seems like we'll kind of start to make our rain and storm chance a little more isolated, and then we'll get another round, though, later tonight. So we'll have a couple of hours of a break for them down there, but then more rain is just going to roll in later this evening. So that's going to be just a really difficult situation for them to have to deal with. And not only that, but they have the tornado watch until 1 o'clock,
Right.
which means that tornadoes are still possible down there. And when you're trying to clean up, you already have no place to go. It's kind of what do you do? I can imagine a lot of people down there are feeling a little helpless.
Absolutely, and friends and family watching from other areas will
Right.
be feeling that as well. We've been trying to get in touch with law enforcement officials, and a lot of them, as you can imagine, are just so busy right now.
Right.
They're going to get the updates out to us as soon as they can. Governor Kemp did put something on social media. I'd like to read you his tweet from a little while ago. He says, as severe weather continues in these and other parts of our state, we urge Georgians to be mindful of how they can best keep themselves and their families safe. Stay tuned to local news outlets and take necessary precautions throughout the day. So you know the governor and his team, emergency management officials at the state level, will be watching all of this
Right.
very closely.
Yeah, and it all happened, I feel like, so fast. It's we had, these storms producing golf ball sized hail and very gusty wind, and that's dangerous within itself. And as we're watching them, as a meteorologist, we're looking at the storm structure because that's just one of the things that we analyze on radar. And we noticed, and we are going to take a brief break. So I'll pause on that thought, and but we will continue to keep you posted as our crews are working feverishly to get you all the latest information.